Right, Rebecca, here we are. I'm outdoors. You're not, although you're pretending to be. And here I am in my garden. Now, today we're following up last week's clarity and motion, how you approach coaching whilst being in the outdoors. Now, we've talked about it a bit. We've never really got into it, and I'm finding it really interesting. So I'm going to stop talking, which everybody likes to hear, very shortly, and give you the floor. So what do you want to cover in this 15 minutes or so? That's what we did last week as an initial touch on this.
Yeah, I think it's about what makes it different, and why would people want to come on a coaching walk as opposed to just a regular coaching over Zoom or, in a coffee shop or whatever. I'm not against either of those, by the way, but there's just something different, something different to be had when you come out on a walk and do the coaching. I think is probably where I would start.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you purely and only, so do it consciously, because I know I forget, and I think it's useful to us. Who are the people that choose to do that in terms of why do they prefer that to a more conventional approach?
Oh, very good question.
I think it's really good questions.
I know. This is your turn to get your own back on me, isn't it? I think
is there a profile of person that says this sort of person prefers to be outdoors doing this than indoors with walls? I don't know.
Not necessarily, no, I don't think there is. But I think everybody who joined me on a coaching walk has already enjoyed being outdoors in one way or another.
Right.
So I think there has to be an element that people enjoy being outdoors.
So they got the kit, they got the right coat and boots.
Yes, I suppose so. I mean, it is helpful. That's the only thing, is the weather can be a little bit disruptive in this country. But it doesn't, I've never really let that stop me on a walk, to be honest. So
you haven't got anything in your terms and conditions to say that inclement weather is not an issue?
Not cause for cancellation, no, not really.
Okay, so what I'm getting is people make an intentional decision to be coached outdoors.
Yes, I think they would. Or even sometimes I will offer it and it makes them think, oh, do I want that? So yes, they would have that decision to ultimately decide whether they want to.
And of course, you offer the option of the indoor conventional way of working. Let's stress that you're not purely an outdoors person.
No, I'm not purely an outdoors person. It's there as an option. And then the clarity in motion is my sort of small group coaching walks. Right. So again, people know that they are signing up to an outdoor event. That is made very clear that it's an outdoor event. And I've had all sorts of people on that. And I think people who benefit from it are people who perhaps are sort of tied to the office. I think it's a really good excuse to get out of the office, get some fresh air and a bit of exercise. So I think they can benefit from it slightly more than other people to some extent, because it is really different from their normal environment. And I think that's where the key is sometimes.
Oh, that's interesting. And I can see that. I can certainly see it myself. I'm outdoors in the garden. Now, you mentioned small groups. Can you help me with one-to-one over a group as small as one other? What is the difference and the benefits of a one-to-one experience? Obviously, there are commercial considerations here for you. Hey, you want 58 people on every one because no, I'm not doing that, But I guess in my mind, you're making me think, what is the difference between the one-to-one intensity, if you like, the experience, and is it lost somehow in terms of being there with anyone else?
So it is a different experience. If it's a one-to-one, then obviously, they've got my full attention, and they set the agenda very much right from the outset.
It's only their agenda, no one else's.
Yes, it's only their agenda. So that's the benefit of having it as a one-to-one. We can be a little bit more flexible in terms of where we go and how we use the session as well. So there's that flexibility with it being one-to-one. With a small group setting, it's still
small meaning what? Sorry to interrupt, but small meaning what? 2, 4, 5, 8?
Yeah, no more than probably 4 participants.
Yep.
I would say, really. So it is quite a small group. So normally averages between sort of 2 and 3 people, really, but no more than 4. The difference with that is that actually the opportunity, so in between the coaching part, so for that one, there is more of a structure. So I do have a structure that I will take people around, sort of 3 or 4 different steps that I will take them around in a loose way, but there is that structure there.
Okay.
But in between those points where we stop and we'll write things down, there's the opportunity to chat with the other participants, so they get to share ideas. So that's, you know, there's an element of that social side of it which you wouldn't necessarily get.
There's an interactive element to more people, different perspectives. I suppose, I can see that. It's nuanced. I love to say the word nuanced. It's not straightforward, is it? You've got someone on their own. They haven't got the opportunity to bounce ideas off others, but it might otherwise, I suppose, just in ignorance. I usually say things in ignorance. I'm thinking, but maybe they wouldn't disclose as much. There's balances, aren't there?
There are, and I think there are sort of checks and balances. And I always say to people in the group setting, there is no need for them to share unless they want to. So there's no obligation for them to share anything.
No.
They generally will, you know, because and I think it's useful to hear other people's take on things and what things they bring. So I always ask people to bring a particular project, topic, idea in mind that they want to work on. So that's where they'll get the most benefit. They'll have something specific they want to work on. So when they then start sharing that with other people, it ignites different ideas and, I haven't thought about doing it that way. Oh, that's a really good idea. So it generates that discussion. So that's what adds to that experience as well.
Oh gosh, this is good. You're really making me think, which is painful for me this time of the day. So in terms of contracting as a coach, you're clear about what you want them to do, the intentions, the outcomes. This is a purposeful, structured activity. It's not just an amble around a reservoir.
Correct, yes. And I think that's the thing. You know, people may look at it and think, why would I want to pay to come on a walk with somebody? You know? And actually, it's not just a walk. So yes, making that clear, it's not just a walk. There is a purpose to it. There is a structure to it, you know. And yes, I want them to walk away with something really useful at the end of it. Literally. And that's what I'll ask them at the beginning. Yeah, exactly, literally. So at the beginning, I ask them, what do you want by the end of this? You know, so I get them to think about it at the beginning of the walk, and then we'll come back to that. Have you got what you wanted? You know, we check in. Where are you at with this? You know, so there's definitely a purpose to this. And
sorry, I'm getting bad at interrupting, but this is really getting me thinking. And please come back to where you were. I guess now what I'm thinking is, does the outdoor element to this, does the outdoor context help somehow to make it a compartmentalized experience? I didn't know I was going to say those words, but what I'm trying to say is, if you're in an office space, it's an office space, it's familiar, it's contextual, it's where people are most of the time, and there's no immediate association with this being a different experience. And I'm just asking you, I'm not presuming, do you think, because you do this and I don't, that is the case? And if it isn't, tell me I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot of the time. I'm just seeing this as something which here we are, and this is coaching. This is not real work. This is not, it is real work, but it's not normal work.
Yeah, I think for me, there is a big element to that. You know, if you're in an office environment, the phones might be going, there might be people talking in the background, or distractions, or that to-do list staring you in your face, whatever, that pile of paperwork. When you're outside, you're away from that, so your mind is freer. They can forget about those things because you're here now in this beautiful space. I've got somebody who's guiding me through some questions that's allowing me to focus my thoughts more productively.
And this is a different experience. It's coaching because it's not me sat in the place I normally am or an office space. Yeah. So, right, specific. The ideas are coming to me as you're speaking, which is a bit crazy. Do you allow distractions? Nancy Klein, famously, you introduced me to her work, always gets people when she works with them to not just turn off, but to hand in their telephones. Though Nancy will get away with that. Are people able to switch off? Do they take phone calls? Do you find them texting? Can they really get away from work?
I certainly hope so. That's the idea of it, is to be fully present in the moment. I don't take people's phones off them. Some of them want to take photographs, But this is the thing. It's a nice environment that we're in. I haven't had anybody answer the phone while I've been out on a
well done, you. That means you create, and presumably that means you've got people ignoring their phones either by switching them off or by ignoring messages.
Yeah, and I think they want to do that. I think that's a conscious decision by them. They are
Yeah,
investing in their time
yeah,
away from the office. You know, they've come on
yeah,
this specifically to get away from distractions.
yeah.
So yes, they would choose not to, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that should be the case, whatever the context. But I can see it's because this is such a packaged experience and it's different. You can say, hey, during this different experience I'm used to, let's do things in a different way. I can see that fitting. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Rebecca,
definitely. And
sorry, I mean, I was trying to think of the next question. I don't need to keep going. Tell me what I need to be knowing rather than not asking you the right questions. What else is there you need to tell me about this?
I think the environment can provide lots of metaphors as well, and I have started using that a lot more in my work now. So we had a small group walk on Wednesday evening. So it was
Right?
slightly different. It wasn't designed as a specific coaching walk, but it was designed as a reflective type walk. And it was the title was The Wisdom of Trees, you know, and actually if we you know, and I love doing this because it was something that sparked my interest. I'd seen something last year. It was painted on a palette and it
You
said
twigged it, did you? Or,
advice from a tree.
you're
Pardon?
you're branching out.
I am branching out, I know, so I need to keep on track here. So basically it was using nature as a metaphor for life, you know, around
Oh,
sort of trees being strong and stable but flexible.
oh,
They
you
will
sound
give you
political now.
wind.
Let's not go there.
You know, so they will flow and they will move and sway with the wind rather than just being too solid with it. And there's
Ooh.
lots that we can take from that. And you know, and I had a whole walk based around the metaphors that we can take from the outdoors. So again, it just provides so much inspiration as well.
So do you find the outdoor environment conducive to innovation, creativity, and to new ideas?
Yeah, definitely.
Ah, one word. I knew you were going to answer that with one word because I'm going to say no, I don't really.
Because
Oh,
I think there's something around perspective. It literally gives you a different perspective on things. So again, you know, it's brilliant. If you go up a hill and we're looking down, so I do this
yeah,
on the day
yeah,
retreat walk. You know,
yeah,
we
sure.
we go up this hill, we look down over the village, and I get them to think about if you're stuck in a problem, you can't see it. If you
Yeah,
move away from it and we go up onto
yeah,
a hill,
yeah,
literally, we can
yeah.
see the bigger picture and we don't get caught in it. You
Yeah,
know.
I can relate to that through my negotiation work. William Ury talks about going to the balcony in the same way. He says, imagine yourself on a balcony looking down on what you're engaged in. You get a different perspective. Right. Time is always our enemy. Again, I think there's more to explore here. There really is. And I'm finding this very interesting. So, in closure, we usually do this. What else is there you wanted time to say that we haven't given you?
It's worth trying. If you know, if it's something that you're not sure about, just do it for yourself or
Mm,
find somebody who will do it with you. You know, go for a walk and see things from a different point of view.
thank you very much.